Hello, welcome to the CartMod configuration video for the product filter XMOD for ClickCartPro version 7. This video we're going to show you how to configure and manage the product filter XMOD. Start out with the basics, which is the enabling and disabling of the XMOD. You go into your admin panel, you go to store, component, settings, go to XMOD prod filter. Before we show you that, let's go to our website front end and refresh a page, and you see you have no filter anywhere on the page. So we turn our prod filter active to 1 and submit. Now our XMOD is active. Go back to our site, refresh the page, wait for it to load up. Okay, we see nothing, which is correct. We go back to our site. Okay, now the next thing to look at is let's look at the display first before we go any further. The display is this XMOD is written as a skin widget. So if we go to System and Displays and Skin Widgets, you will see it in here. Store Products Filter XMOD. It tells you the display order, which is the first element on the right hand side, and the status is true. We already had this set up. If you have the status set to false, then obviously it won't show. Even if the XMOD is active, if you have the skin widget disabled, then it won't show. So you effectively have two ways to disable it, or if you decide to do that, but you won't. Okay, so obviously, given the nature of this, if we wanted to move to the second element of the right hand side, then we would move this to 2 with right. If we want to move it to the first element on the left hand side, we would set this to 1 and left. And so you can scoot the filter around anywhere on the site that you want using the skin widgets display. So that's how you would move it around in your layout. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's go back to Store and Component and Settings. The next thing to cover is, since we have our module active, but it's not showing anything, is because we haven't told it to show anything yet. So what we're going to do is show XMOD prod filters show subcategories. If we want to show the subcategories of our current category, we turn that on and we go back, and you remember that we had our skin widget set to the first element on the right hand side. And so there you go, on the right hand side. You see now you have a product filter heading that matches the headings of the rest of the skin layout. You have a select all, clear all, which we covered in the first video. We have our subcategories section. For this particular site, we renamed it brands because the subcategories on this site they pertain to the brand. So we went ahead and modified that a little bit. But this is the subcategories section. It will only show subcategories that contain items. So if you have a subcategory that's empty, or it only contains its own subcategories, then it is not going to show up here because there would be no products in that subcategory to filter on. So it's smart enough to not show empty categories. It will cover two layers of subcategories. So we are on our grip tape category. It will cover these particular subcategories here. As you can see, these are mimicked in here. And if you had another level, if let's say element grip had its own subcategory, then that would show up underneath element grip tape. So you can go 2 levels deep. We didn't want to go any deeper because it would just cause confusion. We want to keep it light and easier for people to use. And 2 levels deep should be plenty for most sites. So you can do your entire subcategories excuse me, by just enabling that in the admin panel. And the next element to show up here in your menu are columns of the product table that you want to use as filters. So the first one we're going to use here is regular price. We know that CCP comes with a regular price column, and we want to be able to filter by price. So we're going to go to our admin panel. We're going to go to System, Database, Raw Database Admin. We're going to go to Core Column Defs, and we're going to hit Browse. We're going to do a guided SQL select statement. We're going to ask for the CID, which is the column ID, of all columns in the ecom table. And this is the where clause that you would use to do that. You could make a note of that. And then we're going to hit Submit. And now we have all of the columns of the ecom table, and we can select the one that we want to make a filter, which is the regular price. Hit Update. Go down to the bottom of our page. We're going to select C filter as 1, makes it active. The order we're going to make as 1. No, let's make it 2. And the default visibility, 0 means that the filter is open where you can see the options in it. 1 means that it's collapsed to save space on the page. We're going to leave this one as 0 because we want to show those prices. And we're going to hit Submit. Go back to our page and refresh it. And now we have a price filter. It is open by default, and we can see our values in it. We want to add another one. We're going to go back. Well, we're actually still on the page we want to be on, showing all of the columns of our ecom prod table. We have added a new column called Size. We've assigned values to the products that have sizes, and we're going to make that one a filter. Ecom prod size, you can see here we found it. So we're going to go Update. And on this one, we're going to make it active with the 1. We're going to set the order to 1. If you remember, we set the order to the price as 2. We're going to set this order as a 1, meaning it should show up before the price. And we're going to put the default visibility as 1, meaning it should be collapsed by default. And refresh the front end. And now you can see size shows up before price because we set the order of price at 2 and the order of size to 1. And we set the default visibility 0 for price, meaning it's open, and 1 for size, meaning it's closed. It starts out closed. You can, of course, expand it and collapse it further. So you can see it, but it's open. Its default state is to be closed for the sake of keeping your page small. Maybe not. You don't expect everybody to they'll all filter by price, but they may not by size. So you can default it to closed or collapsed. So that's how you add your subcategory section, and that's how you add any columns of your ecom prod table that you want to show up as filters using the admin panel. You can turn those all on and off. What else to cover? We have the size. If a filter doesn't have any values for the current category, then it's not going to show up. It's going to be smart enough to not show that filter. So you can turn on size, and then you don't have to worry about it showing up on categories where size doesn't apply. And I'm going to show you an example here. The current category that we're on is sizable items. These items all have sizes assigned to them. So if we open up size, you can see here we've got, these are inches. It's probably 8.5. it is 8.5 and 9. So you can see here that we have sizes, which is why we're seeing the size filter. If we have a category that doesn't have sizes applying, like videos, even though we have the size column set as a filter, you see it's not there. And it's not there because the category that we're on, there are no sizes for those products, so it's not going to show it. So it's a very smart system as far as showing those categories only when it needs to and suppressing them otherwise. But that's not really part of the configuration, but I thought I'd just touch on that in regard to you not having to worry about when you enable a filter, is it going to show up empty on categories that don't meet it? And the answer is no, it will not. It won't show up at all. So there's that. The next thing is, this is the default look of the menu. When we install the XMOD, we try and go ahead and make it style, to look pertinent to your site and skin it, for you. But if you want to make your own modifications to the way that this is displayed in regard to the colors of the text here, or whatever, the color of the top header, color of the background, the borders, or anything like that, then the way that you do that is go to your site, you go to your public directory, which in our case is public HTML, and you go to media, and you go to XMOD, and you go to XMOD prodfilter.css. And if you open this up, you'll see, if you have any experience with CSS, you'll see here that you've got your divs and all your things here. That you can just look at the HTML and see how to style this. But you can change all your CSS on the menu, so you can make it look however you like. So you have full control on the styling, as well as everything else. So that's your video that explains how to go in and turn on your subcategories and turn on any other filters that you may want using the columns of the database, and just setting them to filterable in their order and their default visibility, and they'll show up and they'll take care of the rest in regard to showing up when they're supposed to and not showing up when they're not. So thank you for watching the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to send an email to support@cartmod.com. That's CartMod.com, and we'll get you an answer. And if you want to purchase the mod, then you can go ahead and go to CartMod.com as well for that. You can see here, CartMod.com, you go to ClickCartPro 7 mods, and you go to ClickCartPro Product Filter XMOD, and that's where you can purchase that. Another nice thing to mention here is that this mod will not be overwritten by ClickCartPro updates. You don't have to worry about that. So you can update CCP natively and not worry about any overwriting or losing the mod. So again, thank you for watching the video. I hope it was helpful. Goodbye.